Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight. I'm Edjuenka, and I have a very interesting program this evening. I have Ms. Sharie De Castro, Sharie the Watchman De Castro, poet extraordinaire. She has a presentation, a poetry presentation coming up at New Life Baptist Church. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I had her here a few years ago, I think. She was still in college. She's graduated. She's back home. She's teaching. We're going to talk some about that experience and her new project. She's got a book she's putting together and a CD she's putting together. And so we're going to have a great discussion surrounding some of her endeavors while she's here. Also, I know everybody wants to know about the BVI Music Festival. And we're certainly going to be talking with Mr. Rodney Skelton. He's the film commissioner of the BVI Tourist Board, as well as one of the planners of the BVI Music Festival. So you keep it locked right here to Spotlight. We're going to come right back first with Sharie, the Watchman De Castro, and then a little later with Rodney Skelton. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Bolo's High-Tech Printery, Virgin Island Motors, and Clarence Thomas Limited.
Welcome back. This is Spotlight. I want to remind you to tell your friends, call up a friend and let them know that the Spotlight is on. And if they don't have cable or a television, they can see Spotlight streaming live on jtvlive.net. on their iPad, iPhone, or a laptop. So there's plenty of options you have tonight. And of course, you could see Spotlight anytime you like on jtvlive.net. I want to welcome Ms. Sharie the Watchman De Castro. It's good to have you on Spotlight again, or have the Spotlight on you again.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Yes. Well. I remember, I can't remember when you were here, but...
I think it was in 2010.
In 2010? Yeah. You were still in university.
Yes, sir.
Right. Well, tell me the name of the university again.
I graduated from Texas Christian University. It's in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay. And how long have you been home now?
I graduated in December, so I'm fresh back home.
So as soon as you graduated, you took a plane the next day?
Not the next day, but a few days after, yes.
More or less?
More or less.
Okay. And what you doing at home now?
I'm currently a secondary English teacher at the Elmo Stott High School. So I'm having a good time fulfilling my dreams. That was always my dream from a very young age, to be a teacher and to impact the institution of education here at home.
And I remembered when you were here and you were talking about teaching and how you wanted to be a teacher. That was your passion.
Yes.
And the best teachers are teachers what feel like they have a calling to
Definitely.
Because certainly ain't paying that good.
Well, it's not about the pay. When you see, at the end of the day, when you see the smile on students' faces after they have grasped a new concept, learned something new, a new word, whatever it is, or years later, I hope, when they could come back to me and say, thank you for how much you taught me, inspired me. At the end of the day, that's enough pay for me.
You see.
It is.
That's the true calling. And what was your experience like in college? How did that go?
College was great. It was really good to experience a different culture. I mean, I was in the United States, but Texas in itself is a completely different culture from other states in the United States. So just being able to, and my school was a very international school, so we had students from all over the world, any place you could think of, especially we had a lot of Caribbean students. Mm-hmm. And so my experience there was different, but so that we could feel at home, my twin sister and I, we founded the first TCU Caribbean Students Association, and for us that was a home away from home where we allowed Caribbean students to come in, mingle, put on programs that showcase our Caribbean culture, so that we just wouldn't feel like we not at home, and that we could help people to understand what Caribbean culture is about and take away all of the misunderstandings that people have.
Cool. And what do you say to young people who go away to college? Do you have any words of advice, words of wisdom?
I would say most of us stay focused. there's a lot of stuff out there that could get your attention and take it away from your studies, but you have to find balance. I think balance is the most important thing. Yes, you can have a social life, but once you committed to your books, the social life can come easy. And so just stay focused and do what you love. Find that one thing that you love and pursue it with everything that you have.
What's the experience like teaching?
People always ask me that, and it's funny because most of the kids are bigger than me, of course, clearly, and so I think the first day when I came in, they were like, really? That's not a teacher, right? And I was like, yes. And just because of the age range, how close I am to them, I've taken on a different approach to me, a more new age approach in terms of my teaching with them, and so now they really, I don't have a problem with disrespect. A lot of people think I do, considering my size. But once you put things out there and you let the students know how much you care, there's a saying that says, it don't matter how much you know until the students know how much you care. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I make sure that I put it out there that I care. I want them to get A's, and getting an A is not impossible, not in my class at least.
So you find that they are able to grasp the concepts readily, especially in English. We always had language challenges here. We have a Creole, because English is almost like a second language to us. Because I find that I'm more comfortable talking like I'm from East End. It's like when I start trying to talk properly, quote unquote properly, I have to think about that plus think about what I'm going to say. But when I talk like I'm from East End, everything fluid, Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a challenge. I would say that's one of the major challenges us as the English department have, trying to get the students to understand that the dialect is okay and it's good, but it's for a time and a place. And so my classroom, I know you can't come in my classroom speaking dialect. As you come in, standard English. Speak it, write it, think it, and we're going to be good. And once the students make a mistake, I correct them. And since they have gotten into the cycle, now I have students correcting them and saying, no, that's not standard English. So once you get them into their routine, eventually they begin to appreciate and love standard English, and they grasp it in no time.
So you're getting them to speak standard English outside of the classroom?
Well, that can come with time. I teach them a lot of words, and it's so funny, a lot of the times I would use a word, and then days after my students just find ways, they literally find ways to use the word. And so I think with that approach inside the classroom, it's going to transpire into their lives outside, and hopefully people will begin to notice a difference.
Okay. How's your relationship with other teachers?
It's good. It's funny because a lot of the teachers that are still there taught me, and so at first I was like, oh my God. I was like, these teachers teach me, but they have given me a lot of insight, support, and I'm really, really grateful to the English department staff as well as the other teachers at Elmore Stout High School who have kept, they had my back. They encouraged me. The first few weeks was kind of rough just coming into the environment, but they encouraged me at all times, and whenever I need a word, I know who I can turn to.
Yeah. Now, poetry has been your other passion or your other calling.
Definitely.
And now you have this big event coming up. Tell us about that event.
This poetry production is my third one. I started off in 2009, and now being back home, I just wanted to put my focus on my gift outside of work after 4:30. Just put everything that I have into my poetry. This Sunday night at the New Life Baptist Church, 7 p.m., I have my poetry production. It's entitled A Lesson Learned. And it basically captures my life over the past few years, especially since I've been away to school. Some of the stuff that I've encountered, both negative and positives. Some stuff I've failed, some stuff I've passed, but everything was a lesson learned. And, we make mistakes, we fall along, but, the thing is to get back up. And so it just captures something that I say, the strength that won't quit. How I have learned to just endure, and the lessons that I've learned, I want to teach them to other young people and older people alike. So
there's really no failure and no mistakes. It's just all
it's just a lesson.
Lessons.
Everything is a lesson.
Yeah. It's either a lesson or a blessing.
I like that. I might have to use that.
So that's great. So you're going to put your life in a poetic context.
I will. I think the reason I'm doing it too, I think that one of the biggest problems we have as a people, not just in the BVI, just on a whole, is that we aren't transparent enough. A lot of times we tell kids, I mean, even growing up I heard it, and I still hear it, don't do this, don't do that. But why? Tell me why. Why shouldn't I do it? And that's why it's entitled A Lesson Learned. If we as a people, especially adults, would be a lot more transparent with our kids and say, well, okay, don't do this because this is what happened to me. Don't just make up Jane and Joe and John Doe and say, okay, look at this person, look at that person. If we open our hearts and our lives and say, listen, this is what I went through, then our children will be more susceptible to listening to us, understanding the lessons, and not want to have to go through the things we went through. But if they don't know that we went through it, why it just sounds like don't do this, don't do that, and then students do it, kids do it. So if we become a lot more transparent, and that's why I try to put my life out there so that people could see exactly what's going on. I mean, I let you know I fall here, I fall there, but this is a lesson I learned. So that when you find yourself coming into that situation, you got a word that could help you to endure it and not make the same fault that I did. So
you need more explanation.
Definitely, I think that's one of the biggest things we lack in.
Don't do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
You need to know the reason why.
Yeah, I believe that will help a lot of young people, and we wouldn't have a lot of the problems that we currently face.
Okay. So poetry, a lesson learned, that's the theme.
Yes.
And it's Sunday, May the 13th at 7 p.m. at New Life Baptist Church.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, you're going to give us some of your poetry. You're coming out with you're putting together a book, and I think the viewing audience needs to know that they can help you. This is part of a fundraising event that you're putting on because you have a project going to the book, and you want to put some of the words from your book onto a CD so that you're just not reading it, but you're listening to it as well. So tell us a little bit about your project, and is there a theme for the project? What type of poetry you're going to put into the book and onto the CD? How is that going to work?
My dream has always been to produce a book and a CD as well. And for the past few years, I've been focusing on that, doing productions to try to raise money in order to make this dream a reality. I have slated a date for the end of the year, and I believe that I can accomplish it. I just need the support. I need your support. I have the support of my New Life family and just a lot of people, my family, and it's basically all my poems put together, put it into a book, as well as the CD, so that you can not just have a visual of it, because I think poetry is not just meant for paper. It's meant to be heard, it's meant to be lived and expressed so that people could actually feel the emotion behind what you was writing and feeling at that specific moment. So I plan to do a CD so that I could capture the moment using instruments and all kind of other crazy ideas and stuff to actually bring about my life, my emotions, and the lessons that I have learned.
Okay, so instead of going around looking for sponsorship, or for lack of a better word, begging for money, you're going to give something in order to get something back so that you can do your independent production.
Definitely.
Which is a great model, I think, for other artists to emulate, because a lot of other artists, they go around and they begging for money and begging for sponsorship, and when they don't get it, they get all upset that no one is paying them attention, but they have a talent that they can sell to get that money. And I often wonder why they don't just have a production in the park, in a church, in a hall somewhere, and charge a fee. So I think there's a model that perhaps other artists can emulate.
And that's the thing. The Bible says you give and you receive. I'm definitely looking forward to the rewards, but at the same time, for me, it's just rewarding to share my talent. Once I can have an audience and inspire people, not just to write poetry, but to understand my love for God and all of that, then I feel like I too have contributed, my part to the BVI, to the world in respect. So that's my goal.
Okay, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, you're gonna do a couple of poems for us. One, there's gonna be a teaser for what's coming on Sunday. So Sunday's Mother's Day, right?
Yes.
Yes. So it's a Mother's Day event.
Yes.
So everybody can bring their families.
That's the idea.
Yeah. And you're gonna do a poem or teaser, and also you have a complimentary ticket to give away.
Yes.
So you're going to do one of our favorite, I think the whole audience favorite poem, the one about the games. It was game shows, right?
Yeah, Games with God. That's the title.
Games with God. And you put all these games together in a nice package, and people have to guess. You have to guess how many games were mentioned in the poem, so you could get the ticket. And we're gonna come back with you on the phone and Sharie, the Watchman De Castro, and poetry right after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Tortola Concrete Limited, Gilbert's Painting Contractors, and CCT Global Communications.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Medjuenka. I'm here with Sharie, the Watchman De Castro, and she's bringing a presentation Sunday coming up, Sunday, May 13th, at the New Life Baptist Church, called A Lesson Learned. It's about her life story and poetry, how you can overcome some of the struggles that she went through. And of course, it's Mother's Day, so it's going to be a nice afternoon after you had dinner with your mom. Take her to church. You can come back in and enjoy the program. It's only $10 for adults, $5 for children, and it's going to aid Sharie in producing her new book and her new CD, which I think is a great idea. Instead of begging, she's showing her ingenuity, using her talent to help to raise money to realize her dream, actually. So we asking for your support. It's a worthy cause, and if you haven't heard her poetry, when you hear it tonight, I know you're going to really want to hear some more, because she's a great poet. The phone number is going to come up on the screen. You can call us, and after when she reads the second poem, which will be, tell me the name of it again.
Games with God. Games
with God. You could guess how many games were in the poem, and you'll win a free ticket to A Lesson Learned this Sunday coming up at 7 p.m. at New Life Baptist Church. Which one you're going to do for us now?
I'll do the one that the production is based off of, which is A Lesson Learned.
Okay.
All right. I hope you guys are blessed. A lesson learned. I did not take a magic school bus to get here. I walked. Sometimes in fear of reaching late, not knowing when my final date would be, so I put on my backpack of grace and mercy to carry me through. I sit here tonight, having passed some tests and failed others, after listening to the whispers of the enemy who said, cheat or repeat. So in defeat I sinned, got back the activity, looked in the mirror and saw red ink marks written all over the blackboard, my body, Xing out the mistakes of my flesh. I began to question myself. What if God takes out his great book of life and records all the things that I did not get right with a permanent marker? But I read my textbook, my Bible, and found the answer. I would be a complete failure if God did not send an eraser, a savior, whose blood, when sprayed on my life, became my liquid cleaner. I became spotless because of his forgiveness. It was then that I solved the equation. One man named Jesus minus sin divided by death plus 3 days in a tomb multiplied by the Holy Spirit to the infinite power equals salvation. I am a new creation. Then I heard the clock ticking, then the bell ringing. Yes, lunch. It's time to eat. So I grabbed my lunch bag and took a seat, opened it up and saw fruits of the Spirit. love, joy, faith, peace, and meekness, but looked over and saw everyone else with sweets, and I, tempted, began to crave a treat. Went on a mental field trip, licked my lips, and got a lust for dark chocolate Hershey kisses with nuts to satisfy my lusts. But too much sweets cause cavities, unwanted pregnancies, babies that will take you back to learning ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Time to finish up today's lesson. Look in the dictionary for the definition of chameleon. It reads a changeable or inconstant person. So I raised my hand and stood to give my opinion. Listen, I am no chameleon. I am one in a million. I do not fit in or blend in. I stand out. No camouflage. Don't sabotage your character. I could only be me and you be you, so why bother? And you can't follow me because I'm not on Twitter. I just know that on the final exam, I don't want to make a 0 and end up in hell. I know I'll never make 100. That's perfection, but I am still under construction. Who knows? Maybe I'll make a 97 once I make it to heaven. Then said the teacher, it's time to go, but remember, there is no extra credit. If I say depart from me, that's it. So here's your homework. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
That's really hot.
Thank you.
That's I mean, you just got it. That's just you, you know. You just
God, it's God.
Yeah, you just could let the words just flow, the meanings, everything, the way you put it together. It's great. I enjoy that, and that's what you have. That's a smidgen of a smidgen. I don't know what the correct word. What the correct word? You're the English teacher. What is it?
It's an appetizer. If you want the main course, come
it's
on
an appetizer. To what's going to happen at New Life Baptist Church on Sunday at 7 p.m. And it's only $10 and $5 for children, so it's not a lot of money. And it's going to be great enjoyment, inspirational. That was an inspirational poem. It's going to be inspirational. The number to call is on the screen, and certainly you could text and wish Sharie well and words of encouragement. We only have about 10 minutes remaining. We have about 10 minutes remaining in this segment. So call us now right after the poem and tell us how many games were in the poem so you can get your free ticket to a lesson learned.
All right, this one is for you guys. I would love it if you would come out. So whoever the lucky person is who will win this ticket, God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you. So here goes. Games with God. Have you ever played a game with God? Anyone? Your game, your rules. Somehow you thought that God was a fool. That it was okay to challenge him, sin, and still win? I started thinking and couldn't help but shed a tear. I thought about his everlasting care and moments of truth, and there, he is the truth, the way, and the life. But if anyone dared me, I'd give up my fruits of the spirit for sweets of the flesh immediately, just for a chance to stand in Candyland. How sweet. Yes, I tried to bargain with the enemy. I put my life up for jeopardy. I told him that if the price is right, I'd give up my birthright. So I got into big trouble while on this wheel of fortune and got bankrupt. Lucifer said, press your luck. So I spinned and said, come on, big bucks, stop. I got a whammy. I lost all my money. So much for investing in jealousy and envy. You hopscotch from church to church, wanting to be first, but the truth is, nothing's wrong with the church, because the word says, if you hunger and thirst after righteousness, you shall be filled. So why are you hungry still? What are you really seeking? Salvation or Pastor Jack's attention? Then because you were worried, you chose to legalize the sex and get married. So after the rings, the newlywed game begins. He asks, what's her favorite color, but your prediction does not match her answer. You say red instead of blue. That's how he knew that it was evident. You administered sex and used marriage as an experiment. Because you see, you loved to watch her chest, to see her nude, but didn't take the time to, in my Jamaican voice, check hers. Translation: to check her, to understand her moods. What a family feud. Are you friend or foe? No one knows. Tic-tac-toe, your time is running out, no doubt. When you choose to tell God about how you plan to solve life's puzzles, he giggles and wonders if there is wisdom in your cranium. Then it's as if he inhales helium and laughs. Did you not hear about his rod and his staff? You recite the 23rd Psalm over and over. You pray it to the Father, but then here comes the snakes and ladders. You listen to the serpents whisper like Adam and Eve when asked deal or no deal for wanting apples to apples. And then you make a tower like at Babel. So you use Scrabble to make a name for yourself. But that does not line up with Scripture. So God asks, are you smarter than a 5th grader? Everybody wants to say, guess who said this and did that? So the church has become a battleship. I declare war. We shoot people down with lies and gossip when Christ told us to go fish. The church is the body of Christ. But if the hands want to be where the feet are, if everyone wants to be the preacher, who will be the prayer warrior? Who will be the Sunday school teacher? That's a twister. Let's work together to get back in order. If you surrender even after being tested like Job in Jenga, a foundation on the rock stands forever. No more hangman or Pac-Man mentality. We're so busy being greedy that we forget about his power pills, his grace and his mercy, so we get eaten up by the enemy. We say it's a dog-eat-dog world, so like supermarket sweep, we run through the game of life, twists and turns, 1,000 ways to live your life. Now will you live yours? You decided to live on Hollywood squares after the rapper asked who wants to be a millionaire. You decided to gain the whole world and lose your soul. But just like a game of dominoes, when you lose and the devil wins, Charmins, enjoy the go. But don't get upset when God says uno and gives you one more chance to hand over full monopoly to the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That's 3. Stop trying to add me to the equation. Connect 4 is not the solution. So judgment day comes and God says, depart from me. And you scream, Yahtzee, but God, I'm so sorry, but why? Have I not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name has done so many wonderful works? But God replied, yes, you've done some great gestures, but I never knew you. That's taboo. You will surely die. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Okay, how many games in that poem?
Let's see if you can guess it.
See if you could guess how many games in that poem. Give us a call right now. We have a few minutes remaining. and let's hear from you. See if the phones are going to but that's one of my favorites. I mean, the way you string all the games together and you sort of like camouflage some of them in between the words of various words, I think is nothing short of genius.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's just poetry. That's poetry, and that's why I'm trying to inspire the young people and just everybody. Everybody could write, you know. You just have to find that zone and enter into it, and anything is possible. You could do anything with words.
Okay. Are you going to have music?
Definitely. Right now, I can shout out some of my musicians. I'm going to have the amazing talent and ministry of Dr. Drexel Glasgow, Brent Hoyt, and Tricio Phillips. They will be just doing crazy stuff on the instruments, just blending the arts so that you could have a better experience with my poetry. We're going to have, at different points, transitioning throughout the night, songs and dance as well. So we have the great talent of the legendary, the amazing 2 young ladies that I just absolutely adore. Deanna Watley and Cassandra Malone, they'll be there, as well as Miss Rochelle Smith. So it's going to be a plethora of just talent.
It's a concert.
It's a concert. I just don't want to put me out there. I'm also putting out other talents that I totally admire, and just I'm so happy to work with and just coordinate with dancers such as Renya Masek and Danisha Finley, two amazing young ladies that I consider my little sister. So it's going to be a packed night, and you're going to see everything.
Okay. Number on the screen, we're waiting to hear from you. You get a free ticket. Call us. What is it? 446-1949. 446-1949. Guess how many games in the poem? It's not easy to guess that.
I know. It is.
Maybe
the person who comes the closest will get it. You know,
okay.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So I think I started to I was going to begin to keep track, and then just listening, I got distracted into listening and wasn't paying attention to the games at all. Some of them, of course, were quite obvious, like Jeopardy and Family Feud. They were quite obvious, but some of them I didn't know, and I couldn't tell whether they were games or words. So that's the trick. But we're hoping to hear from you. We have another 5 minutes remaining, another minute remaining. If you want to get a free ticket, or else I'm going to get the free ticket.
Well, you get one regardless. I just
have to show up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's great. So make a final pitch for the. I invite people to come to the show, because I've been pitching, and I think it's your turn to pitch.
I just want to say, especially since it's Mother's Day, my vision is for it to be a family night. I want not just parents to send out their kids. I would really love that, especially the high school kids, just to see. Yes, I'm Miss De Castro to them, but I'm also the watchman. I do poetry, and just as I love to teach, I love to do poetry. And so I just don't want you to send your kids out. Come out with your kids, mothers, fathers. Make it a family night, a family event where you can come out together and be inspired through poetry, song, music, dance, whatever way captures you. It's going to be an amazing night. You'll never forget. And I just pray that God would move in an amazing way and just gain the interest of young people to find this as a positive avenue to search out and seek out, so that they too can just do amazing things, not just for the BVI or in the BVI, but in the world as well.
Okay, cool. So just run down the list quickly of persons that's going to be there with you, so that we get a full sense of all the talent that's going to be lined up. And the first caller that call will get a ticket.
Well, definitely we have Deanna Watley, amazing singer, completely amazing. We have Cassandra Malone as well, another amazing singer. Musicians who will be backing up my poetry as well as contributing to the songs: Dr. Drexel Glasgow, Brent Hoyt, Tricia Phillips. We also have the ministry of Miss Rochelle Smith. Also, dance, ministering would be Danisha Finley, Renya Masek, as well as my twin, Sharie De Castro. And we would that's the basic gist of the talents that will be there. You may have a few surprises, so come on out, and you'll definitely be blessed.
Well, I just got word that people trying to get through, but the phone's not working. I don't know what the problem is with that, but we always seem to have some challenges here with the phone. Sorry about that, but
that's okay.
It was certainly inspiring. It was more than great. It was inspiring to have you on Spotlight, and I know the program is going to be a success. I know people are going to come out because it's just inspiring. So I'm looking forward to hearing great things.
Thank you. And I just want to say, tickets are on sale. You can pay at the door, but tickets are on sale, and you can buy tickets from the New Life Baptist Church, Infinite Solutions, or myself at the Elmo Stout High School English Department Head, Miss Alicia Tadman. So tickets are available, and I would really appreciate if you would come out, support, buy. Those who buy tickets, there is an incentive. So if you feel like paying at the door, you might want to reconsider, but we definitely want you to come out and support it and be on time, because you can't be late for class.
Yeah.
You just can't be late for class.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
It's
the
a real
opportunity.
pleasure, and we're gonna come back when you got more time. And there's a lot of things we have to talk about, and a lot of things you have to share. I know you with school and your visions and all those kinds of things, and read some more poetry. So when you want to come back, just give me a buzz.
Thank you.
All right, it's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Yes, that's Sharie De Castro. Be sure to show up on Sunday afternoon, Mother's Day. Bring your mother and the kids to a lesson learned at the New Life Baptist Church, 7 p.m. It's $10 at the door. $10 for tickets, $5 for children on the 12th. Okay? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have Rodney Skelton, and we're going to be talking about the BVI Music Festival. Keep it locked right here to Spotlight.
Spotlight is brought to you by Bolo's High Tech Printery, Virgin Island Motors, and Clarence Thomas Limited.